Eating less and exercising more is hurting your menopausal weight loss journey, as too is avoiding fat, keeping busy, and not sleeping enough. If you've been doing all the tried and trusted weight loss tips and you still can't get into your skinny jeans, then listen up. That stuff does not work in menopause. You need to be working with your hormones, you need to be working with your body and where you're at on your hormonal journey. Hi, I'm Chelsea Green, holistic hormone specialist, and I work with women who wish to transition from peri to postmenopause naturally using homeopathy, herbs, nutrition, and lifestyle medicine. There are three main problems when it comes to menopausal weight loss, and in this video I'm going to share those with you, why they're a problem and what to do about it instead. And if I'm completely honest with you, I get really annoyed when I hear people say you just need to eat less and exercise more, or worse still, they say carbs are not the enemy. These kinds of statements are not only unhelpful and demoralizing, but they have the potential to harm your menopausal experience and your long-term health. So I want to bust these myths and empower you with the knowledge to work with your body, to work with your hormones, and live a life of ease and flow and body confidence. Prior to being a health coach and a homeopath, I worked in corporate and I had reached burnout. I didn't recognize it. I just thought I needed to find the right diet, the right solution, the right supplement, and everything would be okay. I was exhausted all the time, and despite eating healthy and doing lots of exercise, I was gaining weight. I had melasma or brown spots appearing. My skin was breaking out. I had to pee all the time, and my energy levels were on the floor. I had previously had anxiety and panic attacks, and those things had started to return as well. Since then, I retrained and learned everything I could about women's hormonal health because my hormones were out of balance and I had no idea, because as far as I was concerned, hormonally, I was all good. I'd never had any period problems. I didn't have any problems conceiving or carrying my children. My hormones were fine. But in actual fact, I had exhausted adrenals, I was on a blood sugar roller coaster, and I was perimenopausal. And herein lies the first problem. We've been taught to think about our hormones only in terms of having periods and having babies. Beyond that, we don't need them, right? Wrong. Hormones are everything. Every single function needs hormones. Life begins with hormones. And weight gain, particularly at menopause, is all about your hormones. And it's really important here to remember that all your hormones are connected. We can never think about one hormone in isolation. If one hormone is out of balance, the entire endocrine system is out of balance. And in my case, I'd been living a life of high stress, fueled usually by coffee and downregulated by alcohol. And it was this that was giving me all of my symptoms. And here's the thing, symptoms aren't the problem. We've been taught to chase symptoms and suppress them, but symptoms are messages from the body letting us know that something is out of balance, and it's up to us to find that root cause and fix it. So with menopausal weight gain, we have those lower levels of estrogen, which leads us to usually being on a blood sugar roller coaster, having too higher stress levels. Lower progesterone can impact our sleep. Quite often we're over exercising because that's what we've been taught to do, and all of that could be the cause of your menopausal weight gain. And this leads me to the second problem, which is the eat less, exercise more model of weight loss. Usually the mantra in this model goes something like eat less, exercise more, lose weight, and balance your hormones. And here's the problem with that. Yes, in the short term that works, but in the long term, it doesn't, and it actually works against you because it impacts your hormones and actually creates hormonal imbalance. Longer term, it stresses the body and it impacts the thyroid. The thyroid is hugely impacted by stress, and the thyroid is responsible for your metabolism. When the thyroid becomes stressed and the metabolism is impacted, what happens is the brakes are put on your metabolic processes, so everything slows down to compensate for the lower calorie consumption. Basically, what is happening is that the metabolism is trying to conserve energy because it doesn't know when its next fuel source is coming from. It's a self-protection mechanism. So this is true for all people of all ages, but when we get to menopause and we naturally have those higher levels of cortisol, this thyroid effect is amplified. We're much more sensitive to the stress that's caused by eating less and exercising more over the long term. So instead, what we want to do is we want to flip this on its head. We want to create hormonal harmony first. So we want to be eating nutrient-rich foods and balancing our blood sugar levels and down-regulating our stress response. When we have balanced blood sugar levels, we naturally consume fewer calories because what happens is all the hormones are connected. When we have balanced blood sugar levels, it sends messages to our hunger hormones to let them know that we've had enough to eat and that we are full. When we have balanced blood sugar levels, we don't crave sugars and we don't crave those refined carbohydrates because the glucose that we're getting naturally from the right types of food is getting into the cells, it's fueling the cells, and we have lots of energy. And by contrast, if you have unbalanced blood sugar levels, you're going to have unbalanced hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin. You won't get those messages that you've had enough to eat and that you feel satiated from your food, and so you'll end up in a cycle of overeating. And because of the effect of not getting the message of insulin and glucose not getting into the cells, it'll be a hunger for sugar and carbohydrates. Okay, so the third problem as I see it is what I call the diet model or the calorie counting model. The problem with this model is, yes, it's eat less and exercise more, but it's doing it via calorie counting, and it's assuming that all calories are created equally, which they're not. So within these models, they look at 1 gram of protein, which is 4 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrate, which is also around 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat, which is around 9 calories. And so they suggest removing fat from the diet so you naturally consume less calories. But fat isn't the problem. It never has been the problem. Sugar is the problem. Refined carbohydrates are the problem. Processed foods are the problem. Seed oils are the problem. And they're the foods that we need to be avoiding. So when we're thinking about eating sugar, we also need to be thinking about the types of carbohydrates that we're eating because they break down as sugar in the body as well. So we have complex carbohydrates like grains and starchy vegetables, and yes, they do break down slowly and give a more sustainable energy, but in menopause, because we are so super sensitive to blood sugar imbalances, we still need to be careful of these foods as well. And white carbohydrates and sugars and pastries and candies and all of that kind of thing, we just want to be avoiding altogether because they break down really quickly into sugar and they create these huge glucose spikes that we want to be avoiding. These glucose spikes are followed by a glucose low, and then in that low we have a stress response. And so what happens is we end up with excess insulin and excess stress hormones in our body, and they get stored as fat in that midriff area where most menopausal women complain they put on weight. So if you've got that menopausal belly, the 2 hormones you need to be thinking about are insulin, blood sugar balancing, and cortisol, your stress hormone, so looking at reducing stress. So within this calorie counting model, the advice is to eat these foods that are causing this stress, these glucose spikes and this blood sugar roller coaster, and avoid fat. Whereas when we eat fat, and I'm talking about healthy fats here, of course, they're anti-inflammatory, they help with weight loss, they help with brain health, they help with bone health. Fats are high in vitamins A, D, E, and K, and our sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they're made from cholesterol, so we need healthy fats for hormone production. So within this calorie counting model, women are often hungry because they're not eating enough fat and protein to feel full and feel satiated. They're not having enough fat for hormone production, so usually struggling with other symptoms as well as weight gain. And they end up on this dieting yo-yo where they might lose a few pounds and then put a few pounds back on, and then lose a half stone and then put on a stone, and just yo-yoing backwards and forwards. This model does not work at all because it's just detrimental to your hormones. So with these 3 myths guiding menopausal weight loss, is it any wonder that women struggle to lose weight, to keep it off, when they're being told that their hormones don't matter if they're not trying to have a baby, that they need to cut out fat and simply exercise more and eat less? So what we need to do instead is think about where we're at on our hormonal journey and think about how can we optimize our system so that we produce hormones, create hormonal harmony, and naturally lose weight. That is, instead, we need to focus on balancing our blood sugar levels, reducing stress, making sure we're doing the right type of exercise for where we are at. You know, what suited us in our 20s will not suit us in menopause, and making sure we're prioritizing good quality sleep. I have a whole separate video on menopause nutrition, which I will link to up above, and I'll also link to in the notes below. So do check that out. But in essence, what we need to be focusing on is having 3 proper meals a day that are protein rich, Include healthy fats and lots of fibrous vegetables. At least 50% of your plate, maybe even 60% of your plate can be full of vegetables. We want to be thinking about gut health. So again, lots of those fibrous vegetables, pre and probiotic foods or fermented foods if you can tolerate those, but if not, a probiotic supplement. Breaking down and digesting fiber burns lots of calories. So loading your plate with lots of fibrous vegetables is a really great tip for your weight loss journey. Menopausal women need a lot of protein, and I recommend 1.2 grams per kilo of body weight. You can track that in something like MyFitnessPal just to make sure that you are getting enough protein. You want to be reducing sugar and refined carbohydrates along with processed foods, junk foods, and seed oils. Add in lots of phytoestrogen, so that's your cruciferous vegetables. They're really fibrous, so again helps with gut health and helps to burn calories, but also things like maca, flax seeds, and chickpeas. We also want to be reducing our stress, so that menopausal belly fat is excess cortisol and excess insulin. So addressing your stress levels has to be a part of your menopausal weight loss journey. If we have too high a stress levels, we have too much cortisol in the system, the body will lay it down as fat in that menopausal belly area. So learn to enforce boundaries, learn to say no, learn to have quiet time every single day, and only do the things that fill you full of joy. We want to be prioritizing sleep. You want both good quantity and quality sleep. If you don't sleep well, you become temporarily resistant to insulin, and you will then crave carbs and sugar, and you'll be on that blood sugar roller coaster. So sleep or not sleeping can be the cause of your weight gain. And again, I have done a video on sleep, which I will link to in the notes. If you are struggling with sleep, do check it out because it is absolutely fundamental to weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, whichever way you want to look at it. Then of course we need to be doing the right type of exercise. So in menopause, strength training is the right type of exercise. You need to be doing some sort of resistance training. So that could be lifting weights, it could be doing resistance bands or just body weight exercises if you're new to this type of exercise. Unfortunately, in menopause, we become much better at storing fat and not so efficient at building muscle mass. So we have to do that strength training to help build muscle mass. When we have higher muscle mass, we burn fat more efficiently, we burn calories more efficiently. But also think about all the other things going on with menopause: joint pain, brain health, bone health, heart health. All of those things be improved with strength training. And for blood sugar balance, walking is actually the best exercise. So making sure you're getting your steps in each day. So where to even start? We have to be balancing our blood sugar levels. We have to address our stress levels. We have to do the right type of exercise, i.e. strength training, and we have to be prioritizing our sleep. But I would say start with balancing your blood sugar levels. Within as little as 7 days of eating to balance your blood sugar levels, you'll have better mood, better energy, better vitality. You'll just generally feel better all round, and from there you'll be able to make better decisions about setting up a gym routine or going for a walk or addressing your stress levels. If your energy's on the floor, if you're eating junk, you're going to feel like junk, and from that place you won't want to make any changes. So start with the food, start with balancing your blood sugar levels, and do check out my video that I mentioned about menopausal nutrition because that will really guide you. And if you need some personalized help, check out the notes below because I have a 1-to-1 4-month personalized menopause program in which we go through all of this and a whole lot more, including consistency. So I'm also a consistency coach, and we will go through how to be consistent, how to set these new habits up long term. And if you're not ready for a program, in the notes you can also find my free download. It's called Thriving in the Menopause, and it's full of tips to get you started on blood sugar balancing and reducing stress. Or simply hit subscribe and catch my weekly videos. And to get started with your nutrition, check out this video next, where I go through every element of menopause nutrition and show you what to focus on so that you don't have to cook separate meals, eat alone, or spend loads of money.